Alright guys, what is going on? Thank you for coming back to the channel. I'm Chicago Karl. Thank you for tuning in today. As you saw from the video, we're going to be predicting the National League Central Division this year for the 2021 upcoming season. So without further ado, let's just get into it. Coming in first place, we have predicted the St. Louis Cardinals to take that spot. The big news for the Cardinals this offseason, they picked up third baseman Nolan Arenado. He is a multiple times Gold Glove winner. He's going to be a standout player. They still have guys that anchor this team like Paul Goldschmidt over at first base, Harrison Bader, Yadier Molina, Matt Carpenter, Adam Wainwright, Jack Flaherty. Those are the notable guys on this team's roster. They have deep pitching. They have good power hitting on this team. They just have a stacked roster. Tommy Edman, I think, is poised to have a strong year. Carlos Martinez is still on this team. Paul DeYoung is going to be a consistent guy over there at the middle infield. So yeah, this team, I'm excited to see what they can do with some young guys. Look out for the Cardinals. We're going to predict them first place finish, 95-67 final record. Coming in at second place, we predicted the Chicago Cubs will take this spot. Now, the reason for this is because I just don't think the Cubs are deep enough this year compared to years past to really fight with the Cardinals. They didn't make a big enough push in the offseason to really acquire anyone that I thought was necessarily that notable. In fact, they dealt some guys away, some guys walked. But let's just get into it. Their roster, you still have standout former MVP Chris Bryant over at third base. You're going to have guys like Javi Baez, former MLB The Show cover man. You still have Jock Peterson in center field, who was their biggest acquisition this offseason. He's going to be a serviceable guy in the outfield. Anthony Rizzo at first base is a hometown classic. Everyone loves him. Wilson Contreras behind home plate. Ian Happ, they're the Cubs. It's the same roster every year, essentially. Jake Arrieta, they got him back from the Phillies. He looked good yesterday in spring training. They still have guys like Zach Davies. Kyle Hendricks is going to anchor this starting rotation. He's a standout guy. Doesn't throw hard, but he's so fun to watch. Craig Kimbrell's going to be coming out to close games for this team. Alec Mills, the one-time no-hitter thrower, he's going to be fun to watch for the Chicago Cubs team. And yeah, that's really all I got for these guys. I'm excited to see what they can do. I don't think they're going to be as strong as they were in, 16, 17, and 19, in years like that. So we're going to predict them 91-71 record. They're going to benefit from playing teams like the Reds and the Pirates a ton, and I think they're going to win most of those matchups with those teams. But I think they're going to finish right above that 90-win mark. Coming in at third place, we have the Milwaukee Brewers. We were going to predict them with an 80-82 record, right under 500. I just don't think this roster is necessarily deep enough to make a deep push for October. I think the big reason for this is they just don't have enough pitching and enough firepower. They're just lacking in almost every single department. Notable guys in this roster, we all know they have the MVP, Christian Yelich, who's going to help them to, on his own, is going to definitely help them to win at least 15 games. That's just how good he is. He's a standout player. They did acquire Colton Wong, who's a very good infield utility man. Daniel Vogelbach, the big guy from Seattle, they acquired. He's going to hanker them down at first base. Hopefully he's a suitable replacement for Jesus Aguilar. Travis Shaw is going to be playing third base for this team. We all know him. We all know what he can do at the plate. Josh Hader is their standout guy out of the pen. He's going to put up highlight numbers, all-star numbers every single year. He is a beast. Keston Hiura is a guy that I hope he strikes out less than he does. I believe he has the second highest whiff percentage in the entire league. That's got to drop. They also got Jackie Bradley Jr., who is a fun outfielder to watch. He's a defensive stud. Devin Williams, Corbin Burns, obviously Daniel Woodruff. I mean, they have good pitching, just not great pitching in a division with teams like the Cardinals and the Cubs. They're going to have to compete with teams like that night in and night out. And I think this year, to be honest, the pitching in the National League is probably better than the pitching in the American League. So, I mean, they just got to pull it together any way they can. Guys like Brent Suter got to step up. Justin Topa, Adrian Hauser had a down year last year. He's got to step up. That's what they got to do to get this Brewers team over the hump. Fourth place, we have the Cincinnati Reds. This is essentially last place in any other division, but because the NL Central is home to the Pirates, who are probably the worst team in the entire MLB, they come in at the 4th spot. The Reds, they have an aging roster, but they do have a good mix of young guys that they've sort of acquired and grown through their minor league systems. They do have former veteran and notable Reds player Joey Votto at first base. He's coming off of a COVID stint. Hopefully he's back to his normal health when the season starts for this team. They're going to need him deeply. They do have Sonny Gray, who they're going to look to turn to when they can. The loss of Trevor Bauer in the offseason is really going to hurt this team's win tally. He pitched phenomenally for this Cincinnati team, and without him, he's just they're just not the same team. They're not going to be as productive as they were before. They still do have Luis Castillo, who has the second highest ground ball percentage in all of Major League Baseball. He is a dirty guy on the mound, young guy. If they can, produce him and they can sort of build him up to be a star, this Reds team is going to be in good hands for years to come. Eugenio Suarez is going to be a fun power guy to look at. Shogo Akiyama is a fun guy over from Japan. Aristides Aquino is a very good power hitter with a funky swing. They still have guys like Castellanos, who they got in the 2020 season. Sean Doolittle is still here. Mike Moustakas. Nick Senzel is a young guy that I hope can produce. And that's really all this team has as far as notable players go. Michael Lorenzen had a down year last year. I think he has the potential to really become a great pitcher. He has such a cool backstory, but if he doesn't produce, then this team isn't really going to go anywhere. And they do have Jesse Winker, who is a glitch in MLB, the show, like everybody knows, but real life, not so much. He's going to have to step it up for this team. As far as a final win tally goes, I'm going to put the Reds right around 75 and 87. You could even convince me into putting them at like 70 and 92. I don't think this team is that great. I think they're worse than they were last year, and I didn't think they were really that great last year. So that's my take on the Reds. Last place, no surprise to anybody, it's going to be the Pittsburgh Pirates. This team is they're just bad. There's no other way to put it. They just have guys that they're hopefully going to produce their minor league system. The Pirates, though, suck at developing players. If you watch, like, Urinating Tree, and even 5 Points, they'll talk about the fact that, like, this team literally has no direction in the way they're going. They're just sort of stuck in mediocrity, but hopefully, to the league's blessing, they're going to fall and have not a good record so that they can get a better draft pick. Maybe they can land a guy like Kumar Rocker or Jack Leader over from Vanderbilt. But, this team just needs pitching. They need a good player at every single spot. They lost Josh Bell. They lost Starling Marte. They lost Jameson Tyone. Like, this team is just so weak. Their roster is the absolute opposite of deep. Notable players, there really aren't any. Cole Tucker is a guy that had a bit of a down year last year. A lot of people thought he would put up better numbers, and he did. Hopefully he can come through for this Pittsburgh team. Gibran Hayes, I think this is his rookie year, maybe. I'm pretty sure it is technically his rookie year, so I don't know if he played enough games last year. He'll be a fun guy to watch for this team. Gregory Polanco, maybe he'll pull it together for this team. Probably not. And those are really the only notable players on this team. Colin Moran, I guess we'll talk about him. He, for 2 weeks last year, led the MLB in home runs, but just fell off of a cliff. Maybe he'll be good for this team. I don't know. He didn't look too consistent last year. That's all I got. This team doesn't have any pitching. They have no infield depth, no outfield depth. There is no direction this team is going in. Thankfully, they got rid of their old manager. Now I believe they're coached by Derek Shelton, former SIU Saluki baseball player. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a good year for this team down in Pittsburgh. I'm predicting them to finish with a 62 and 100 record, probably the second, if not the worst team in baseball, right with another team we're going to talk about in our next video, the Colorado Rockies. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe down below. Drop a comment telling me what you thought about this video. Let me know what you think about the National League East for this upcoming season. Have a nice day. Be nice to each other. I'm out.